words really are? We use them all the time to text, to walk, to write essays, but in linguistics, words are much more than just letters combined together. They are actually small, meaningful building blocks that carry structure, rules, and even history. So today, let's explore the world of words, from their forms and parts to how they change meaning. Let's dive in. Let's start simple. Words are the meaningful building blocks of language. Just like bricks build a house, words build a sentence. For example, and the cat sleeps. Each word adds meaning. Cat tells us the subject, and sleeps shows the action. Without words, language would not exist at all. Now, here's something interesting. When we talk about words, we can think of them as types and tokens. A word type is a unique word, while a word token counts how many times that word appears. For example, hello, hello friends.
Hello, hello.
There are 3 tokens, but only 2 types because hello repeats. Some words have predictable meanings. We can guess their meaning by looking at their parts. Take unhappy, for example. Un is not, and happy means joyful. So unhappy means not happy. Easy, right? But others are unpredictable, like kick the bucket, which actually means to die. You cannot guess that from kick or bucket. And one more thing, sometimes we use the term lexical item, which can be one word or even a group of words that actually has one meaning of unit. For example, by the way or take off. So, all lexical items are words in function, even if they contain more than one actual word. Okay, now that we know what words are, let's take them apart. Many words are made of smaller parts called morphemes, the smallest units of meaning. Take the word unhappiness. We can break it into un is not, and happy is the base meaning, and ness is the state of being. Together, it means the state of not being happy. We also have 2 types of morphemes, free and bound. Free morphemes can stand alone, like book or run. Bound morphemes cannot stand alone. They need to attach to something else, like s or re or on. For example, rewrite is re plus write. So, morphemes can also be roots, affix, or combining forms. Like root carries the main meaning, like write in rewriter or writing. Affixes are the part we add prefix at the beginning, an, re, or pre, and suffixes at the end, like li, are, or able, and something in vices where in English. Combining forms come from Latin or Greek, like bio is life or logi is study. That's why biology means study of life. Alright, now here's where it gets a bit deeper. Sometimes one morpheme has different forms. These are called allomorphemes. They carry the same meaning but appear differently in pronunciation or spelling. For example, the plural s in English is s in cats, z in dogs, and ez in bees. Same meaning, plural, but different sounds. The same happens with past tense, ed, like t in walked, and d in played, and ed in wanted. There are allomorphisms of the same morphemes. Now, sometimes morphemes are not always by meaning alone. Think about recessive, decisive, possessive, concessive. You cannot easily define cursive, but it clearly plays a role across words. So, linguists identify morphemes not just by meaning, but also by pattern and structure. We can classify words apart in different ways to free versus bound, can you stand alone, and root versus affix, main meaning or modifier, and inflectional versus derivational is change grammar or creates a new word. So, for example, inflectional is walk to walker is change the tense. In derivational, teach to teacher creates a new noun. So, that's it. Okay, let's talk about inflection, which is how words change from form for grammar. A lexeme is the best meaning, but a word form change to fit tense or number. For example, run, runs, ran, and running. All belong to one lexeme is run. Each form fits a different grammatical role. There are regular and irregular inflection. Regular forms follow normal patterns like cat to cat, walk to walk. Irregular forms do not like chill to children, go to went, mouse to mice. So nouns can change by number and positions like singular to plural, like book to books or man to man. To show ownerships like the girl's bag, the girl's classroom, like this. Okay, pronouns also change form depending on their verb. Take I, me, and my. I is the subject, me is the object, my is shows possession. Same with sames, different forms. Plural pronouns do the same, like we, us, our, they, them, their, and determinants like this and that change to this, that to those. So verbs show inflection most clearly. For example, write. In the past is write. Third person is writers. In the past is wrote. In the past participle is writer. In form is writing. So each one fits a different grammatical context. I write every day. She writes poems. He wrote yesterday. They have written a book. So adjective also inflect to show compression, like tall, taller, tallest, but some are irregular is good, better, best, or bad, worse, and worse, like this. Alright guys, so when we look closely, words are not simple at all. They are built from smaller pieces, roots, affixes, and morphemes, and they constantly change shape to express grammar, number, and meaning. From books to writing, from good to better, every form tells us something about how language works. Words are more than what we say. They are how we think, connect, and understand the world. And that's what makes studying them so fascinating. Thank you for watching, and remember, every word you say carries a story behind. Bye bye.